along the way. We'll do our best to make sure we don't miss any if you're on Blab. But this is the Double Your Business Show. I'm your host, Leslie Hassler. We are live on Blab, and today we're live on Periscope, so we'll see how that goes out there. But really, I love this technology that allows me to just get a little bit better in knowing who you are. You know, as we've been going on, this is our 7th show this year, so exciting. Happy hands there. But I know we have people that come on that have been with us every episode and staying with us in that respect. So I'm really happy about that. I'm going to open up a seat for Amy, see if she can get in on what we're doing. But we are on Blab at 1:30 Central every Monday afternoon, except for holidays. A few holidays I think we have planned for the year. And I've got a full 51 shows for you this year. So we've got a lot of fun things here. Today, what we're talking about is how to stand out from your competition by defining your service. Now, if you've been with us every week, you know I'm talking about a lot of different strategies, a lot of different ways that you can grow your business. There's actually 169 of them. So it's not too uncommon that I should be able to give you a strategy a week really for the next 3 years. And that's kind of fun. But it's just really a matter of taking each of these strategies as they go. In and of themselves, you don't need a whole lot of strategies in your business to be able to grow it. There are strategies that deal with marketing. We've talked about that in the last couple of weeks. Strategies that deal with conversion, which is really a part of the sales process, and then strategies that really kind of chime in on other numbers that we look at in your business. So one of the first things we talked about were the numbers that we want to pay attention into our business. So that would be the number of leads that were coming in, how well we convert those leads. We're not really looking at the client number because remember, that's kind of the end equation from a mathematical spot. We're looking at average sales. So how much on average do our clients spend with us? And then how often do they purchase? You know what I love about those last two numbers? If I've got an existing business, that's where we go first, because that's really how we can grow a business or double a business without having to do new marketing. So sales and marketing really are those two kinds of skill sets that affect your business throughout. We're going to be talking about one aspect of the sales process, which is about defining your service. So I'm going to ask Amy if we can go ahead and put into the chat box the ideal client target image just so people can see it. And if you can't see it, if you're listening to us on the iTunes, you should be able to pop over to yourbizrules.com/service, and that should get you straight to the blog post. But I'm just going to hold this up. It's a bit of a target, if you can see, and it's a bit of a bullseye. So what we're going to talk about is really that innermost bullseye is about you. It's about who you are. You had my guest, Sabine Mesner, on several weeks ago. We were just talking about the uniqueness of you and you being one of the ways that you, quote unquote, niche your business. Now, Sabine hates niching, so don't tell her I said that. She'll go crazy. But the point is that's what everybody thinks they need to do is talk about niching. As a small business, you are your best niche. There's no one that solves the problem the way that you do. And that's kind of that next little ring out on the bullseye is talking about the problem you solve and the benefits of working with you to do this. Now, this is what I like about this type of a strategy. If you have a value price strategy, if you feel like, man, there's somebody on every single block doing what I'm doing. How do I get known? How do I stand out from my competition? You got to zero in on this aspect, okay? Not just what the problem is, but also what the benefits are for you being able to serve that. Blab, and I was chatting, so I didn't get a chance to see if I could click you in. But we're going to be going deep on this. That And then we've got, as always, Amy on here as well. So I'm going to check over here and see. Let's see. We're going to try to click in Amy again. Amy will be on with us when we're. Hey, Amy's here.
Finally, I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's the way it goes. So
no idea.
It's like I was saying before, the fun thing about some of the newer social media items is there's no easy way, and I'm trying to figure out which camera that it's got me on. There's just no way to really ensure that one thing's going to work over another. So that's what we're out here for. So yay, we have Amy on the line. So Amy's going to take over some of our shout outs when she gets kind of in to the swing of things and into here. But I want to kind of move on into really the yes formula. What I talk about is the Your Biz Rules yes formula. And I'm going to, Amy, I think you've got it in the notes that maybe you can paste it up for us, but I kind of say it's P cubed, all right, plus P. I know it's the 4 P's. I know everybody loves the 4 P's, but it's P cubed plus P has to be greater than a resistance to change or the cost of your product. Thank you, Amy, for putting that out there. So let me explain what the P cubed is. Just wish you could get cubed going in on the chat line. So the cubed part of it is problem plus times pain times promise. Okay? Problem, pain, promise. Those 3 aspects of the sales proposition are probably the most important part of the sales process. That plus P is plus a plan. Now, I'm going to challenge you. How many people have you ever heard sell the plan? They sell the plan more than they talk about the problem that they solve, the pain that is created by the problem, and the promise of working together, what that promise might be if we were going to work together. And a lot of people focus on that because that's where we feel like we get to share our expertise. That's how we prove that we know what we're doing because we have a plan. But I got to tell you, a lot of times it's not about the plan. It is more about that promise, the pain, and the problem that they have. So this is the way that I would give it to you. I have the travel bucket list. Amy, do you have a travel bucket list? Yes? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so where do you want to go? What's the furthest place away that you could think to go? What would it be?
Okay.
Zimbabwe?
Zimbabwe,
really?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Okay, awesome. Mine is Angkor Wat, Thailand. So that's one of my farthest away places. Okay. So if you think about that, there's a lot of reasons we want to go, right? We want to see something. Do you want to go on a safari, go see animals? I mean, what's the big draw for you to go to Zimbabwe?
Zimbabwe because of the, the safaris and the conservation work being done there. I'd love to spend some time there.
So you get this feeling that it's the destination. She's talking about what she's going to be able to do, how she, being able to have the conservation probably fills a warm spot in her heart. And I know Amy, so it does fill a very warm spot in her heart, right? There's a feel good that she gets from this. Now, Amy, if I had to tell you that the only way that you could get to Zimbabwe is if you took 4 different planes but wait a minute, before you even get on the plane, look, you got to go get 12 shots. And not only do you have to get 12 shots, but then every one of your family has to get those same shots. And I don't know about you, but I got a son that hates shots. So that means a very screaming, wild, kicking episode all about this. And not only are you going to have to get on 4 planes, but you are going to be shoved into that plane. You're going to have to get seatbelts. You're going to be sitting next to somebody that maybe isn't who you'd like to be sitting next to. And when you get off the plane, then you know what? Your cab's not going to come, and you're going to have to sit at the airport for a while. But that's okay because you know what? There's a plan, and the bus will come pick you up next. And so you're going to be on the bus, and you're going to put all your stuff up on the top. Is anybody getting a little bored with this story yet? Amy's laughing. Yeah, Amy is. Now, the reason why you're getting bored with the story, we were all ready to go to Zimbabwe with her, but we were getting bored with the story because it focused too much on the plan, like how things were going to happen. And then it started to feel really, really hard. Now, if Amy could go zip and be in Zimbabwe in the next 3 seconds, she would, right? It would be easy, of course, she says. Your audio is not coming through, so I'll do that. The point is that when we're selling our businesses and we're only focusing on the plan, like 23 meetings, I actually did have this. I was contacting a company I've been referred to. They're like, well, first, you're going to pay $225, and then you're going to have 2-hour meeting followed up by a 1-hour meeting, and then you could talk to us for 15 minutes for the next month. But if you run over on those 15 minutes, you know what? We're going to charge you more. That doesn't sound like a whole lot of fun to me. And I was left with, what exactly am I paying for? I don't want to pay for meetings. Nobody wants to pay for meetings. People want to pay for what they're going to get. So when it comes to really communicating your business, you need to not focus so much on the plan, but really on that kind of destination. Or if you want to think about it, you focus on the destination, not the journey. Because nobody wants the journey. Everybody wants the goodness at the end of the journey. Okay, so same thing about when we're communicating about our businesses. So when we're looking at businesses and we're looking at that YES formula, and that YES formula again is P cubed plus P. So your problem times your pain times your promise plus a plan. They need to know you know what to do next, needs to be greater than our resistance to change. If you're having a hard time in the sales conversation, there's usually that pain, problem, and promise part that is off. Usually the plan is not the big deal there. It's one of those first 3 elements. And so we're kind of talking about the problem that you solve and how do you define that service. So when we look at that, there's number one realization that I have for people. Your client has to realize that they have a problem. I don't know if you've ever been out networking, and this is probably my favorite example out there in the world, but if you've been out networking and somebody goes, I can help you. You're like, okay, you can help me. That is fabulous. What do I need help with? You know, you're already kind of in this adversarial position when somebody just says, I can help you. So we want to make sure that they see the problem, that they see they have a problem. Now, yeah, I have a little story here. I was actually speaking at an organization, and I did have somebody come up and he's like, I have what you need. I have what you need. We need to meet. Here's my card. Man knew really nothing about me and nothing about what I might need or how I might be solving some of my problems. If you know me, I go out and I solve problems. That's what I do really, really well. And Amy's laughing. Amy's giving me props on Blab because she gets to come along with me, right? And, you know, I don't sit around and wait for a problem and let it fester. And if I'm sitting on a problem, it's because I'm trying to determine how best to solve it. But you've got to get this inclination in that people may not realize they have a problem. And if they're not going to realize that they have a problem, it doesn't matter what you can do or what you're going to do. You're talking to the brick wall. So I think sometimes people get a little hung up on that you might see the problem, but your potential client doesn't. And if they don't, it doesn't matter. They really have to see what that problem is. But let's talk about the problem a little bit. There's the problem that you solve, and then sometimes there's the problem that people think they have. There's a difference in that. For me, the problem that I solve is really the ability for your business to grow however you would like it to grow, as efficiently and cost effective as possible, right? But if you look at it, really what I'm giving you in doing that is I'm giving you more time with your family because you're not working like a mad fiend in your business. I'm giving you more money in your bank account so you can choose to do other things. That might be hiring new staff members. That might be giving charitable organizations. It might show up in a lot of different ways. But when you look at things, the problem that people most come to me for is they want more clients. And if you've been paying attention to the show, you know where that is on the realm of what we've been talking about. But so I understand that that's the problem they see, right? That problem that they see is that they want more clients. The problem that they have is probably something a little more underlying that I can help with. But if I started talking about that problem, the ears would turn off because they're very laser focused on the problem that they have. So you've got to watch a little bit out for that. And I think in a lot of ways, because we have the internet and information world, how many of us don't go out there? I can tell you, I'm doing this right now with SEO. Am I the SEO expert? No, I am not the SEO expert. However, I am still out there Googling how to improve my site's SEO, because I can go out and find information, and I'm pretty smart. I can do a lot with a lot. I'm not smart enough for this. Now, I'm smart enough for SEO. It's not my expertise. But you see, you understand the concept is we can go out and we can self-diagnose. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm going out and I'm trying to self-diagnose why my site isn't where that I want it to be. That's what every business owner listening here, listening in the future, is doing for themselves. They're going out and trying to self-diagnose. Sometimes that self-diagnosis gets us a little off track a little bit. So you need to kind of get a good understanding of, where they are, what they think their problem is, how the problem represents to themselves, and then how you can solve the problem. Amy, who do we have online? Do we need any new shout outs out there?
Absolutely. So we have Bertine us today. She's come to check out the show. We also have Nadir and Jamarez with us.
Awesome. Awesome. So that's who we've got online, but I see we have lots of other people watching. That's the fun thing about Blob. You can either come into the room and participate and have fun with us, or, hang back and, watch the video and go from that. And then we've got a few people that pop in and out on Periscope. So since that's kind of fun, I haven't been paying as much attention to the names that pop up. They seem to pop up pop down just as I look over there. Amy, I want to take a minute here and let's pop up the Venn diagram that I have for us to share today. Absolutely. And this is a kind of fun thing. And before we get into really the problem that you solve and the benefits of it, I want to help people understand where they are when it comes to this ideal client triangle. Excuse me. And Amy's going to put it up here in our chat box. But really that there are three little circles that kind of overlap with each other. Most of you know what a Venn diagram is, and there it is. It's up there for us. Let me see. Amy, it just loaded it loaded the ideal. That was the ideal client one. This one's in the show notes just a little bit lower under the Venn diagram. So you basically have three circles. You've got the circle of somebody that understands that they have the problem that leads them into there, or that you serve. Then you've got this second circle that is a client that is willing to invest in themselves. And that I was having this conversation this morning with somebody that does payroll services. I got to tell you, if you're owning your own business, get somebody to do your payroll, get somebody to do your bookkeeping. Just be done with it and get it done, because they're so much quicker at it and better at it, and you can be on to other parts of your business. So that was my soapbox. But essentially, my friend sells payroll services, and we were talking about how people view the expenditure. So you can see this expenditure, how you spend money in your business, either as a cost and something you have to save against, or you can see it as an investment, right? And something that will help you grow. The same thing for your clients. They have to have a little bit more of an investment mindset, especially if you're selling value prices, versus a savings mindset. And some of the times I kind of describe it as, it's part of that worker and entrepreneur mindset that I've talked to you about. The worker is going to be looking at problems, going to be looking at saving versus actually investing to be able to grow. So an entrepreneur mindset has a little bit more of that understanding that you're trading time for money, and you're putting a system into your business that allows you to grow in the future. So when you look at your services, you want to find that right investment mindset. So tapping into what they gain from investing with you. Remember, I talked about that promise. It has a lot more to do than just the fact that you're going to complete X, Y, and Z for them. It's, if you can tap into, if you can make them money, if you can save them time, if you can give them some of those intrinsic values that people are looking for. That third kind of segment there is the people you like to work with. And why are we kind of going into this cycle? I'll get to there in a second. What we're looking for is the convergence of those three, right? Convergence of the client who you like to work with, who's willing to invest, who understands that they have your problem. In that sweet spot is your ideal client. If you're kind of getting somebody that understands they have a problem, has the investment mindset, but isn't who you like to work with, well, they're not an ideal client. Right? The same thing if you've got understands the problem, you like to work with them, but they don't have that investment mindset, they're not an ideal client. Now, most of the people, when we get, especially when it comes to price and get that price sensitivity issue, what I hear is nobody wants to pay, nobody will pay me for what I do, so I need to find something else to do. That may be a course, or you just need to shift your ideal client. So when it comes back to the problem, and that's what we're talking about, defining your service, defining that. You have to keep all of those three things in mind. So when you're looking at the problem that you solve, think about it from the perspective of what is it that your clients are looking for. Bertine was just on here, and she's actually going to be a guest in a month, 2 months, is it? She's one of our guests, and we invite everyone to kind of come check out the show so they know what to expect. But she's really good at client experience. Well, somebody's not always going to think, I need client experience. They're going to think about the fact that their clients don't come back. That's going to be the problem that goes, okay, how can we engage our clients? That's what customer experience does, and having a customer experience program in your business is about retention, and it's about referrals. That's the problem that people think they have. Not that they think they need a client experience. They think, I want more referrals. I want my clients to stay with me longer. So you got to be sure you define this problem in that kind of double way of not just what you do, but how it solves the problem that people think they have. Amy, we've got some new people kind of jumping on board. Who do we have out there?
Yes, we have Susan Hamilton who just joined.
Oh, howdy, Susan.
And Mr. Wonderful joined. How about that?
I love that kind of connotation. Mr. Wonderful. That's fun.
And we also have VI Performance just joined in as well.
Awesome. So we are talking today about standing out from your competition and defining your service. And, if you've joined us a little bit earlier, you heard me talk about an episode that we did with Sabine Messner, who's fabulous at what she does, and really tying in your branding into who you are. And part of that is for most small businesses, there's no one that does what you do like you do. Is that adage, said nobody does the voodoo like you do kind of business. And how you communicate your service really has to kind of come through with that. Now, when it talks about the problem, if you looked at most of my marketing, like I mentioned before, it talks about marketing problems, getting new clients, because that tends to be the problem that my clients feel that they have, that they want to address. Now, but we all know that, it comes in differently. Amy, can you give us an example from your life? So Amy's my virtual assistant. If you've never been on the show again, she's awesome at what she does. But, when you look at the problem that you solve, what is that problem for you in your business?
I help entrepreneurs who have online businesses kind of implement their various different systems. So generally the problem is that they have a lot of systems and they're very creative and they have products or programs they want to launch, but they're not really sure how to put all of their systems together to make it work efficiently.
So what I also know about Amy is family's really important to her. And so her family tends to be really important to her clients as well, which is why they want the systems. They want to free up their time. That's part of the reason they got into the online world. So when you look at how you're portraying that service conversation to your client, that's really important. I'd love if you're online and you want to share with us what your service is and how you've positioned it. I'd love to hear and be able to share some more examples out there. It's really important that you do kind of get your dime to be able to stand on, and that you can stand on it pretty firmly. So we've got some people out there. We'll look for a little bit of conversation around that. We are about halfway through the show. This is the time I do invite people to come online, especially if you've been participating in the chat. That way we've gotten to know you just a little bit. I'm coming over here and looking at my notes. I've kind of spoken a little bit quickly. The benefits, we have been talking about the problem. The benefits is part of that promise that you have. So when they are at this kind of, let me see how we can back this best up. Sales discussions are never really 100% logical. There's always a subset that make very logical decisions about their sales process and what they're doing. There's some things that technically this, makes the best decision. But for a lot of people, they make that decision emotionally and then they try to support it logically. And so these benefits help tap into the bit of the emotion part of it. We gave that destination and journey example a little bit earlier. Excuse me, I need to grab a little bit of water. We do have a request. I'll bring on, oh, good. This seems like a fun person to have on with us. Susan Hamilton's joining on, and let me just give a little bit of, hi, Susan, how are you?
Hey there. Well, I'm organizing my office today, and I saw this post through Fabulous Females, and I just kind of popped in for a minute to check a few emails. So I'm totally unprepared, but I'm trying you through iPad because I've done this before on my desktop and the video quality is terrible. So I thought, I wonder if you mind if I just pop in and see how this works on my iPad.
No, I don't, especially if you can hang out for a minute and chat with us. But let me just give people a highlight of who you are because I can see you. But you are a talk show host and editor of the Offbeat Business Show and Magazine. So I love that, showcasing what's right in America's small business today. So thanks. Well, we're just kind of talking about how you communicate the problem that you solve and how much more important that is.
It is today. You've got to be able to differentiate yourself. You always have. I mean, that's been part of marketing since the dawn of time. You always have to set yourself apart from someone else. But today is very different, and like we're experiencing on Blab. I don't know how long you've been doing it, Leslie. I've only played with Blab a handful of times, but I know enough about digital media to know I have to be in this space, and I'm going to have to explore it, right? And I'm going to have to get well versed in it. And I think that for a lot of American business, they're afraid of touching in that new media. So when you're talking about differentiating yourself, I say jump into the newer ideas and learn to master them before everybody else does. I think that's a great way to start setting yourself apart.
I don't by any means say that I'm a social media expert, but I have been in the realm long enough, right? Marketing my own business for a while and then marketing in this business. And what you just said has been probably one of the things that I clued into really earlier. When you can find a technology that enables you to touch your clients in the right way, you get in on the beginning. Don't wait for the end, because you do have it's not as hard to get momentum. In all honesty, is when you can ride the wave of an emerging technology, you can gain so much ground so much quicker versus if you come in 2 and 3 years later, you've got a lot more saturation into a technology that makes it a little bit of a buffer, to get some legs under. But you also mentioned another point, and from when you study business, I imagine you see this. There's nothing that does things better than voice-to-voice, face-to-face kind of communication. But the challenge is that's not highly leveraged. It's not highly leveraged if you're meeting one-on-one with, 10 people during the week. There's just 10 people. So this is a technology that does have the ability to leverage your ability to have more personal conversations and relationships.
It does, and I always choose video over a phone call. I'm very active with Skype. If I can have in one-on-ones or more of a group, I've got a handful of groups that I like to associate with. I've learned after a while, what works and what doesn't, right? You have to be selective with your
exactly
time like that. But I will say this. I didn't go exploring new video options. Had I not had one ear to the ground, I wouldn't know Blab or Periscope exist. So you really do have to kind of pay attention to those trends. Not everything is for everyone. I've heard several people, marketers that have been doing this for quite some time that are saying, you know what, Periscope, not for me. Well, how would you know if you don't play with it, right? So you got to know what you can cross off your list as well. But if this
Yep.
works, I think I might continue with the Blab thing,
Well,
because it is mighty convenient on the iPad, I have to say.
it is mighty convenient, although Amy and I had quite the dickens in getting on today.
Mm-hmm.
There's no two Blab experiences are the same
That's
in
funny.
our little beta beta world. So sometimes the camera works, sometimes it doesn't. You can be on a Blab, you're like, I was just on one yesterday, it worked fine, and it's a bit of the wild, wild west. I think it took Amy, 10 or 15 minutes to be able to get in, didn't it? Yeah, it took a little while. So
I
it's
think that's hard for the people that want to come in and follow. There's several that I haven't watched because I thought, oh, Jiminy, this is getting ridiculous to get inside of it. It is, and I think we lose people that way. But I do think it's better than Hangout, don't you?
Oh, yeah, it is a lot better than Hangout. For me, I like it better than Periscope because I like the interaction, and Periscope is still one-sided for me. And I'm like, I want people on, I want people to chat and, have conversations. So for me, I'm loving it. And, we're out there looking at how we're leveraging this and really being able to do that. Highlight great people that I know, great people experts that I use in my own business and refer, and just have good conversations about business. I think that's sometimes what we miss a little bit as small businesses, the opportunity to have those conversations.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So
I don't know a whole lot about you, Leslie. You probably introduced yourself at the beginning and I came on at the end and messed that all up. But you've got a great smile. I love your social posts and your outgoing nature. I think that's it's going to be interesting to watch what you're doing.
Well, thank you very much. There are, we just got a comment out there. Thanks for doing the Blab. Well, thanks for coming, because that's half of the thing is I am willing to share as much as I can share, because that's a bit of the mission of my business. But the business name is Your Biz Rules, and it is business coaching. So what I specialize in is really quick growth in a really smart way, and love working with business owners that are looking to not just grow their business, but actually have it be profitable so that they can actually enjoy life, be it spend more time with the family, give more to your community, hire more staff, whatever that is. I don't place judgment on that. I just help you get there. So that's a little bit short and sweet about what I do.
What for you, Leslie, what have you found to be your ground zero? What I'm starting to recognize a trend. I was kind of spending some mental time in it today, just kind of regrouping and recapping January. But it's interesting. I think I've seen some common denominators. I'm curious what yours is. Where do you
ground zero in what? Say that again.
What are you seeing across the board with your people that really needs to be the place they start? That they're skipping that one thing, man. If they had it, the rest of it would start to fall into place.
A little bit is what we're talking about today, is not being afraid to stand out on your own. I think the hardest thing about being a business owner is being willing to be out there, not hiding behind a computer, and then being able to just share who you are and being okay if it's not okay for some people, but still being there for who you need to be there for. So that tends to be number one on that side. But for me, and this is a little bit of where I start with my clients, is people don't know their business well enough. We're not as
nailed it.
We're not intimate with our business. And I don't know how many hours you guys spend with your business, but I spend a lot of time with my business. It's a bit like my husband. I know so much about my husband, and what I don't know, I ask. And we're going to be on 16 years of marriage in April.
Oh, wow. We'll be on 20. So we're right neck and neck.
Oh,
there. Yeah, that's
how fun. How fun.
But you know what you said, intimate. You used the word intimate with your business. That's a little bit different than knowing your business. And I really like that. I like that choice of language.
But it is, I know one of the things I like to help people do is really get a quick little snapshot. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be, scary, but you need some financial snapshots. And I don't look at it as a bookkeeper or CPA does. So I have to start out there from there. But you know what? I talk about there's 7 figures to know in your business. If you knew those 7 figures and you grew each one 1%, you'd have 15% growth. we just make hard. You know, we tend to make business harder than it really is.
Mm-hmm.
So I like keeping things simple. The best businesses were built on simplicity. And if we can do that and we know our business and, you know, we check in with it, we have, you know, I talk about having dates with your money, having a date with your bank account. You know, I know that sounds silly.
No,
but
because I think what my common denominator was, Leslie, what I see is I'm still explaining and helping people understand what a marketing budget is and why they need it. And I'm seeing it everywhere. And it's like, that really does need to be a consideration, because I think I'm going to go ahead and start dealing with that. And just see what's the most effective way to, but to help them understand, you know, nothing's free. It's going to be blood, sweat, and tears. Yes. But even social media, while it costs, there's a handful of things that, if you'll spend a little bit on that, you get your life back. You know?
Well, and it's that whole concept of, do you have to be the worker in your business? Right. I see as an entrepreneur and owning a business as being one that just makes sure the work gets done, not the one that does the work. There's a little bit of a fine line difference there. But, you know, just like you're talking with marketing, I completely agree with you on that, because there's, you know, I talk about marketing, and there's a book by Brad Sugars called Buying Customers. That's really what marketing is. You know, Susan, I don't know what your background is, but my first career was in marketing and advertising agency world. Yeah. So I dealt with some really big brands, you know, and I had to prove value for what we were doing, because marketing budgets are the first thing to go. And it's, you know, especially in small businesses.
Especially in small businesses, they are. We have a very similar background. Yes, I had a national full service marketing agency for about 7 years, and and we were one of those companies that wasn't willing to say we do a particular group. We don't want to turn anybody down. So we do, but and I have to say that while the business changed a lot, we didn't make it the way we were. Excuse me.
No worries.
But we went through healthcare and through some other issues that our company was unprepared for, and we didn't make it our final year. We did come back and separate that out and do the two different types of things that we're doing now, between myself and my sister. That was really, really cool arrangement. But we learned some of the same language is happening on every size business, and we learned that while so many people were niching out, the education to be able to recognize what the similarities are, I think, are incredibly huge, because we separate ourselves. These smaller businesses don't feel like they have a whole lot of clout. Don't feel like they have a whole lot of know-how. And what we're seeing over and over again is they will spend and spend and spend on programs. They'll spend on events. That doesn't mean they do take the program, and it doesn't mean they go to the event. You know, it's almost like they feel like they've got to check something off of their list. And instead of recognizing, you know what, everyone has to do this. This is part of that constant education, that constantly being exposed to new ideas.
Well, and that's one of the keys, you know, there's nothing in business that's perfect. I think, Amy, do we need to give some shout outs real quick? Amy's my taskmaster.
Yes,
she keeps me on time.
We do. Yes. In fact, I was wanting to jump in, and I wanted to jump in and welcome Yolanda and Retro Games. Also Pamela Gomez, who answered a question I put out there about what is the problem that she solves for her clients and customers in the chat. And then Credit Union Land just joined as well. So I wanted to give shouts out there. And if you can see in the chat, Leslie, that Pamela helps individuals achieve good essential oils.
Okay, so that was, I know Amy's mic was breaking up a little bit, but I do see Pamela. So she's like, I help individuals achieve good health, wellness, and relaxations with essential oils. There's definitely, you know, lots of good points in there. As somebody that uses essential oils, I'm probably going to tell you that you could have a little bit deeper in there about the reason why. You know, I choose essential oils as a way to maintain my health, but there's a bigger reason why I choose essential oils. And that for me is I don't want drugs. I don't want medicine in that realm. So I'm willing to experiment and try some things that sometimes they really work and sometimes they don't. And I'm okay with that because I want that natural aspect of it. So that was great. We just got another one in here, credit union land. I help consumers frustrated with their current banking relationship find a credit union that's right for you. I love that word, frustrated. Because I know, my husband and I have a credit union, and we're kind of frustrated with them. So that makes that is a great little feeling word in there that was there. So Retro 8 Games is kind of on saying hi. So howdy, Retro 8 Games. We've been talking. This is the Double Your Business show, talking about really ways that you can grow your business. Today we were focusing in on how to stand out from competition and defining your service. So Susan jumped on with us. You've been on Blab for 100 days, it says. So I've only been on it for 42 days more than you.
I haven't used it. I haven't used it that long. When I first heard about it, Erin Smith is a friend of mine. I've run into her a couple of times, and she was talking about it. And otherwise, I wouldn't know. I heard a couple of people say some things on Facebook, but that's not where I tend to do things.
Yeah.
But so I've been on there, but I've had one group of clients come in that when we were talking about intimacy, and those types of things in business, because we cover every single topic that a business owner in America today is exposed to. So at that particular time, we were talking about that.
Yeah.
But this is a little more engaged. This is much better. I'm loving the iPad.
Yeah, and I'm glad you got it to work on something there. So let me ask a question, Susan, and then if we need to, we can let you go. But when it comes to, we kind of get into this a little bit when it comes into the niche kind of conversation. But in, your experience with businesses, either through the marketing or through your magazine and talk show, what are the ones that you really see are able to stand out from the competition? What are maybe do you have any idea of what it is that helps them stand out so much to you?
Well, I love that question because it's so elastic. There isn't any business that has a passion for what they're doing who doesn't have a secret sauce. They've all got something. And what I love to do is help them see what it is, because so frequently you'll see some of these smaller businesses who maybe are they think they're competing with the big box stores. No, they're not. They're not at all. They got marketing budgets and departments and the whole types of things set up there. But the average American business, we serve the 80% of American business that tend to be family-owned businesses of 9 employees or less. They're probably raising their kids while they're building their businesses. They probably are taking care of their parents. They probably have a veteran. Chances are they have an addict in their family today. So we're serving everything that we talk about in that context. So when we are highlighting and showcasing business owners for what they do, it may not be what you expect. For instance, if we were working with a carpet company, a carpet cleaning company, you don't really think about that, do you? There's the big ones that you see on TV, right? They're advertising, but you don't see a lot of these other ones. Well, how do you help that business owner realize what a genius they are with what they're doing? You have to spend a little bit of time with them and show them where that is. And just for an example, what if they manage better teams and they're more efficient than anything while they're having trouble getting new business? Maybe they're saving a lot of money with the efficiency of the way they're running their company. Maybe that's allowed them to stay in business. Well, how are they an expert? Well, they need to start talking about the fact that what they're doing and seeing the successes in that team building, because every business owner wants to know that. Every business owner wants to master that. So I think finding niche is one thing. I think it's important to a degree, but it's also important to really know where you shine in your business and be willing to capitalize on your strengths and dig that out, because you have something. You're not in business for nothing. You started it because there's something that you want to impact and change. And I think to stand on that's very, very important.
You brought up something when you started talking about this. I felt the need to share. My very first business was in a high-end interior design business, and everybody's always looking to be very individual and very creative in how they share with something. But as I got into a little bit of study with neuro-linguistic programming, so NLP, you start to really see how influenced people are by what they see throughout their day. And if it's very true. And if you look at even some of the best interior design rooms, there are not really very polar opposites. They're just shades of gray from each other, interpreting the same type of thing. And I know when I started this business, coming from an interior design business into business coaching, there was that aspect of who me, why me, who am I, and that happens in so many small businesses. And the thing is that there really are very few new things. We're all taking a lot of the same knowledge, a lot of the same expertise. You shared in a little bit of ways that we have some commonalities, in our background. But really the newness is the how you do it, the how you serve it up, the how you're interpreting it and using that as part of your story. And that's another great point that you brought up about being able to stand on your dime and represent yourself. I was at a conference with Les Brown, and probably the biggest thing that I heard him say was, when you own your story, you lose all competition.
Yeah, there's a lot more room up there, isn't there?
There's a lot more room because there's only one you. And if all you ever really are able to say is, here's who I am, here's how I do the work, here's what the benefits are from working with me, then you will never have any competition. But as soon as you say, we're just like, fill in the blocks, then you have competition. So I think
I love
competition's a state of mind in some ways. Isn't it?
People need what you got. There's enough business out there for everybody, and
hallelujah.
Up on that, there's enough business. So let's get out there and be awesome. Let's not be afraid to network with our peers and network with people who do the same thing we do. Guess what? Iron sharpens iron. Let's all be awesome.
Let's go for it.
Let's take on the community and change it, right?
Yeah. Now, what part are you in Texas? Are you here in Dallas? Okay.
I'm here in Dallas.
So you and I will have to get together and have a chat, because I believe the same way. Iron does sharpen iron, and there is so much business out there that there's no competition. Don't worry about it. Just go out and find your piece of the pie and grow your business and be happy there. So Susan, thank you so much for joining. I'm going to follow you here real quick. So I've got you in there. If you're
great.
Hopefully we'll see you on another show as well.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank
Have a good one.
Bye.
Nice to meet you.
She said, nice to meet you too. So that was a lot of fun. Guys, you've been watching the How to Double Your Business show. We've been talking about standing out from your competition. Had a great conversation here with Susan and a lot of other people. So we are coming to the end of the show. I do have time maybe for one short little open seat here, as we are just talking about how to define your service, and be able to kind of set those apart there. What I will say is I do have a webinar that's coming up on this Thursday, isn't it, Amy, over the lunchtime hour if you're in Central? Yeah. And if that's something you'd like to join us, I'd love to have you out there. But the name of it is the 3 steps to finding your one thing. We've talked about so many different options there are to being able to define your service, to be able to grow your business. If you've been following the show, if you haven't, hit subscribe and follow over there so you get our show announcements. But, every week we're talking about a different way to impact your business. And there are 169 ways. And every week I can just share one. And then I'm not even able to share it fully and deeply, but sharing the most that we can with you on that. So I'm going to put that here into the chat if you'd like to check it out, see if it's something that would work for you. We'd love to have you. And then you can also see how I really approach things. Oh, Amy beat me to it. I set up a little short link before we got on the phone today. Amy. But that's what we're going to do over there. But, next week we are going to, we've got Jennifer Deep Stratton coming on next week, don't we, Amy?
Yes, we do.
Yep. She's awesome. So she really is an expert in really high ticket sales. And we're going to be talking about competing on value, not competing on price. And I don't really care if you have a $10 item and you don't need to be competing on price. So really talk about the value. And I know, what was it, Yolanda earlier when she was explaining her product to us, that's exactly the type of product that you're competing on value. You're not really competing on price, no matter what people say. So if you're hearing too much, if it's too expensive, you're going to want to make sure that you're checking in next week at 1:30 Central to make sure you've got that one out there. So awesome. Thank you, Retro 8 Games, for subscribing. I love that. I love having people come back show to show, and I love seeing new people out there as well. But unless we've got somebody, oh, my seat's locked, so let me unlock that for just a second. I'll unlock that seat if you'd like to chop on, talk about today's show topic, which has really been about how to stand out from your competition, defining your service. Love to have you on. Otherwise, we'll start wrapping up. I haven't seen too many questions today, Amy. Did I miss any?
No, I haven't seen a question yet either.
Okay, good. Well, we got Solutions Turk just kind of popped in and talked about that, so and joined us. So sorry, we're at the end of the show here. Let's see if I can go back and just look at things. We've talked about a lot of things with that. But I'll just wrap up for today, guys. Come back next week. We'll be talking about positioning your business based upon the value that you serve, not just price point. Price point is really a state of mind. State of mind, I guess. What was the other thing I said with state of mind? Competition. It really kind of is. It's what you believe between your two ears determines a lot with that. And then we've got a couple of things here. But Solutions Turk will actually have the replay will come up soon. You can also catch it over at the yourbizrules.com website. We have it posted up there as well. So thanks so much for joining us, guys. If the website is something you'd like to do, be sure to check that out, yourbizrules.com/1step. We'll be talking about the 3 steps to finding the one thing to grow your business over this next year. And if not, we'll see you back next week. So that's all for today, guys. Thanks so much.